on. 10-4. Circumference and area of a circle.
Oh, I know this.
Okay. Yeah, you should have done this in like 5th grade or something. Okay. Circumference and area of a circle. First of all, circles have several different parts we need to discuss, right? The line that goes through the center of a circle always has a center, and then the circle is created from all the points that are equidistant from that center. The center of the circle has a line that goes from one side to the other is called my diameter. A line that comes from the center to just one side is called my radius, yes? The circumference of this circle is the distance around the circle. So the circumference is like a perimeter, yeah? Okay? To find the circumference, you can use one of two formulas. You can use circumference equals pi times diameter. And I'm going to ask, unless the directions tell you different, for you to use the pi button on your calculator. Okay? Unless your directions say use 3.14, start using the pi button, because when you get into higher math, you're going to only use that. You're not going to use 3.14. The pi button should be right here above the little caret button.
Oh, I found it.
Right here. Look, Craig.
Oh.
Okay? So it's circumference equals pi times diameter, or circumference equals 2 times pi times radius. Okay? The reason you throw that 2 in there is because the radius is half the diameter, so I need to double it. So depending on what they give us, whether they give us a radius or whether they give us a diameter, depends on which formula I use. Okay? Pretty simple. So we have lots of word problems today we're going to talk about. You guys okay over there?
I don't know.
Okay, it says scientists have identified the faint outline of part of an ancient meteor, a meteor crater on the coast of Mexico. The rest of the approximately circular crater lies underwater. The crater's diameter is approximately 170 kilometers. Approximate the distance around the crater to the nearest kilometer. How do I do that? Someone besides Cartman. Sierra? Yeah, because that's my diameter, right? And I'm trying to find the distance around. Distance around would be my circumference. So I'm going to use this formula right here. Circumference equals pi times 170. What is pi times 170? 534 point what? It said round to the nearest kilometer. So it's 534.07. What kilometer are you rounding to? No. Round to the nearest kilometer, like the whole number.
Oh.
530.
Oh my. 35.
No.
Oh my God.
It should be 534, right? 534.
Yeah.
Because if it's 0.07, that would round down. Okay, 534 kilometers. That's the circumference, okay? The next one says, the circumference of a circle is 70 inches. Find the radius of the circle. How do you set that up? If they give you the circumference and ask you to find the radius.
You're going to do the circumference.
Yeah?
So circumference equals parentheses. No, I'll put that wrong.
It says the circumference.
So you do 70 equals.
70 equals what?
Equals
You're trying to.
radius. Pi times
No.
2 pi times.
Yes. So you do 70 equals 2 pi r because it wants the radius. So I have to use the formula that has the radius in it. Now, how do I solve this?
You multiply 2 times 5 and then divide by 4.
Okay, I'm going to make it easier on you, Craig. Skip that step. I can literally just take 70 and then put the divide sign and use parentheses and say 2 times pi in parentheses and enter, and it will give me what the radius is.
Let me see that.
So
Do that
you
again.
put 70 and then the divide sign, and then you use parentheses, 2 pi, into your parentheses, and press enter.
11.14.
Yeah, so we're gonna round to the nearest inch. So we're gonna say 11 inches, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's how you do that. That makes it so much easier. That way you don't have to multiply it out and then divide it first. Okay? And I don't have to round more than once. It just makes it simple. Is that okay? Okay. Now, when you're finding the area of a circle, we always do pi times my radius squared. So if they give you your diameter, what do you have to do first?
Divide? Yeah,
Divide it by 2. And when you divide by 2, you have your radius. Okay? So you should be able to work those problems. The area of a circle is always pi times radius squared. Now, it says find the area of the circle to the nearest square foot. Look at what it gives you. The diameter. So how do I set up the area for this? What's half of 26?
13.
So I get pi times 13 squared. In your calculator, you're going to just press pi times 13 and you're going to put the square with it and press enter.
530.93.
Okay, so you got, yeah, you got 530.92 or whatever. Now look what it says, round to the nearest. So what does that mean?
It's
531.
531 feet squared. Don't forget when I'm finding area, I need to have that feet squared in there.
I get
Okay, so hey, tonight on your homework, pay attention to what it's asking you to round to. That's going to be your biggest mistake. Okay, all the rest is calculator work. Okay, the area of a circle is 72 meters squared. Find the radius of the circle. How do I set that up?
The radius of the
72 equals
72 equals. No, look, the area. What's the formula for area?
A equals B.
Squared. So 72 equals pi r squared. Okay, how do I solve this from here? Yeah, divide by pi, Kate, good. What do you get when you take 72 divided by pi?
22.9.
22.9. Now, how do you get rid of a squared?
You multiply.
You do what, Carter?
Find square
You find the square root. Is there a square root button on your calculator? Yes, use it.
And what do I type in just the square root?
You put square root and then you put 22.9 in there. And what do you get r equals, or is congruent to?
15. Hold on. 22.9.
Yeah, the square root of 22.9 is what?
5.
4.78.
5.
Time out, did it tell us to round anywhere? No, it just says find the radius of the circle.
4.78.
So let's just round to one decimal in that case, 4.8.
8.
So 4.8, and what's 4.8 meters? Everything you do must have units with it tonight. Okay? Okay, so 4.8 meters. So we worked that formula backwards. We worked the circumference formula backwards, we worked the area formula backwards, and we worked them forwards. Okay, you can do both. Okay, last thing. A Norman window from Congress Hall in Philadelphia consists of a rectangle and a half circle. Do you see? This is my rectangle here. Yes? Okay, right there. And this is my half circle, yeah? Okay. So it consists of a rectangle and a half circle. You're going to have to start recognizing when you see shapes how to break them into things you can solve with when there's more than one combined, okay? Like last night on the 30 and 31. So it says there's a rectangle and a half circle as shown. Find the area of the window to the nearest square foot. So what do you want to start with? You want to find the area of a rectangle first? Okay. So how do I find the area of this rectangle?
do 4 times 8.
Okay, what is 4 times 8.25 congruent to? And we want the name to what? 33 feet squared? Okay, now, here's the deal. I have this half circle, yes? How can I find the area of a half circle?
Diameter is 4 feet.
Okay, which means what about the radius? Because when I'm dealing with area, I need the radius. So my radius is 2 feet, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So what's my formula for the area of a circle?
Area is
Okay, so what's 2 squared? 4. What's 4 times pi?
Nah. It's a 5 times
12.5.
12.5. Now, I have a question for you. That's the area of a circle. Is that a full circle?
No.
No, so I have to divide it by
2.
2. And what do you get?
6.5.
Okay, let's round that to the nearest foot. So the nearest foot is 6 feet. And then I'm going to add that to, so 33 plus 6 is what?
39.
So it is approximately 39 feet squared. Okay? Do you see how that works?
Yes.
Okay? So this is the stuff you're doing on your homework tonight. Okay? It's pretty simple stuff. Yeah, we have a quiz tomorrow. Okay, over 10-1 through 10-4. Hey, if you need extra practice for your quiz after you do your homework tonight, if you want some extra practice, page 534 has a quiz with 11 questions on it, kind of like refresh your memory.
Right now.